Here we go. All right, guys. So we should be live now. I see folks are checking in. So we have a SMT today. I don't know what that means. Hi, Hamed. Adjust the volume just a tad bit. We got Dev. And we got Jim. All right. So today, guys, we are in a position where we're giving some updates. Give a quick update on like the expose or the Dallas startup weekend recap. And then we're going to talk about exchanges. Yeah, there is an echo going on here. There might be me in the background. I was given a little pilot earlier in the day. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but no, basically I was given a demo of the ATM machine for a client. So we have that going in the background, so that might be the echo that you're hearing. Let me know if you still hear the echo. All four of you. Yeah, so it's 9 of us in now. Okay, that's a good thing. We got more and more folks catching in, and right now I want to give an update. I may cut that off in a few minutes, but I just wanted you all to be able to see the ATM and the video. We got a little video if you could check it out. So I'll leave it there for a few. So as you can see, it's me giving a demonstration that's playing in the top part of the ATM. So I think that's a pretty good a showing that we have here. So yeah, so with that said, man, without any further ado, man, I'm just going to give the updates. We had the Dallas Startup Week recap. So we did 2 events on Dallas Startup Week last week, and I know I didn't give an update that last week. There's a lot of stuff going on, obviously, but what we did do is we presented at the launch party. We had the ATM out. I had a lot of people come and ask questions about what we're doing with ATMs, what we're doing with masternodes, and just saying, hey, we're just combining the two of them, making a masternode and an ATM. Had some critics, but you always have critics like we have with our project. But I'm not going to let 1 or 2 critics get in the way in terms of what we're doing. So after the launch party and showing off the ATM there, we did present on, I think it was that Thursday. It was the night, yeah, it was the day before the last day, and we talked about LPC, what we're doing in this space, what we plan to do in the future, particularly getting out the ATMs. And as I mentioned earlier, we already have one launched in Colombia. This is the second one that we have launched in the United States, and demonstrated that, like I mentioned, not too long ago with a potential buyer, which is excited to actually have someone ready to buy. So now we're in the point where we're getting out the wallets. So yeah, and that's what you're seeing on the screen here. And that's particularly once we get to the update on the wallets. I just want to give you guys some info on that too. But Dallas Startup Week, it was pretty good. I met a couple folks in the blockchain space and the gaming space. They wanted to have follow-up meetings, so we're having meetings this upcoming week with the folks from the last from the Dallas Startup Week, talking about how we could begin to pull LPC into the gaming space. I'm really excited about that. There's some gaming publishers here in Dallas. There's some professional teams that are located here. And it'll be great if we can get with a publisher and embed LPC within the game, or when they start having tournaments at the different stadiums that they're building, both at the collegiate level. At the University of North Texas, they have a team. University of Texas Arlington has a team. University of Texas has a team. And if we could have, like what we did at the Future Blockchain Conference, where they're competing and prizes are in LPC, or the entry fee is in LPC, or anything involving LPC, like the entry fee, things like that, or within in-game prizes, that would be good to actually have us progress on that level. But I did want to just let you know, and I'll give you an update with that meeting on. I think it's on Wednesday. It's Wednesday or Thursday, but I'll keep you updated. I'll let you know what happens on the next meeting. But that's with the Dallas Startup Week recap. On the exchange update, we did pay our fee over to the folks over at Yobit. Was waiting to list before we pushed over to Bittrex to put in our application, but we have not been listed yet. The support team at Yobit, we're going back and forth uh, about, they've seen the project, and then they say, hey, I'll contact the dev team to see what they're doing, but I haven't heard anything back from them. There's some information in that Yobit may be a little bit shady. Perhaps that might be the case. We paid the listing fee, but we'll see what happens with them. Bittrex, like I mentioned earlier, we were just waiting for it to be listed on Yobit to resubmit to Bittrex. But there is an exchange in China that Colin was able to get us plugged into, and a big thumbs up to him to get us in that, get us on that exchange. The name of it, I don't know right off the top of my head, but they were asking for information. They gave us over some API information, but for the most part, Colin's been running point on that. And if he's in on the chat, which he's doing I think an Ironman this weekend, so he's probably not going to be available. But yet, I'll keep you guys updated on listing, getting that exchange up and out. But it supposedly is an up-and-coming exchange with a large amount of users, and I think it would be good for us to actually be listed in China. And with that said, Yobit still in progress. Bittrex, I'm not going to wait on Yobit. I'm not going to wait on Yobit now just for us to submit that application, to resubmit our application to Bittrex. So we're going to submit our application to Bittrex, and I'll keep you guys updated on that one as well. And as the Asian exchange, and let me see if I can get the name over here. Give me a quick second. I'm going to some real-time action, guys. Hold on. Let's see what we got from Colin. Go to CTT. The name of that exchange. This confusion. I'm trying to find it here. Sunday swimming. Maybe it's in a recording. Yeah, it's a lot of recording. I'll post it. Like once I find it, I'll go ahead and I'll post it down in the about section of this particular stream. So that's one exchange in Asia, in addition to Bittrex, in addition to Yobit that we have in progress. So that's where we are on exchanges. But last but not least, Exchange Alpha release. A couple weeks back, before the Dallas Startup Week, we said that we were going to push out the wallet. So when I said, hey, we're going to do some alpha testing, get some users onto the platform, have them to begin to look at the wallet, bang on it for a little bit. We got a white hat. We did some penetration testing, looked at the site, had some comments, and I immediately began to address some of those comments. One of the first things immediately said, damn, you don't have a CAPTCHA. So basically folks can DDoS you, not DDoS, but spam you to death in registering on the site and also logging on to the site. He also came back and said, hey, there's some issue with messages being sent and on the excerpt. And I was like, well, we don't send out messages on the excerpt, so we keep all the messages on the on IPFS, but we don't send out, hey, what's up, bro? That's King Cyrus, they're jumping in. So we don't keep we don't send out an email, but that's a feature that we'll need to add. So with Colin giving that feedback, Niraj giving some feedback, we had a few other folks who did give some feedback on the alpha. And there were some things that were absolutely horrible there. The scanner, like the where you upload the QR image, folks were saying, well, no, basically you can't access the native the way that we have the web wallet configured, we can't access the native camera just yet, or I'm not in a position to be able to program it where we can do it. But you can upload a QR image, and then it will determine whether or not it is a valid address for whatever chain you're posting on. But then you can also use an app, and there's a couple scanners that I do recommend outside of the application, where you could use your phone to immediately capture and scan. So with that said, Alpha's complete. Alpha is complete on the Exchange wallet, and you could now, we're moving into the beta phase. And I know I'm going to get a lot of comments. I know we got some earlier, some folks basically saying that, hey, this needs a lot of CSS or cascading style sheet love, and we're going to work on that as we begin to push through. So what I recommend you guys begin to do, go to that site that's at the bottom. That is our beta testing site, https web-02.exchange.io. Sign up for your web wallet. Even though it is a desktop app, and that's what you're seeing here, you're seeing the desktop application, and I'll give a walkthrough of that in a second. You're seeing the desktop application, but it is configurable where it does adjust to your mobile device. So you can begin to log on with your phone, scroll through with your phone, send payments with your phone, and actually post messages to IPFS using your phone. One of the long-term goals, as I mentioned before, is to be able to upload or get on board more and more cryptocurrencies, particularly Masternode projects. I like Masternode projects, so that they could have some immediate liquidity. Long-term vision, ATMs totally functional, where we have thousands of ATMs around the world, starting in the United States, in South America, and then branching out into other geographies. And then with the ATM, you have the Exchange wallet. So if you have the Exchange wallet available, then it's the case where any Masternode project or any of the currencies that are on the platform, like for instance, any of the currencies that are on the Exchange wallet, they could immediately swap into LPC and cash out. So just imagine being in one currency that doesn't have liquidity on an ATM. They could get liquidity by swapping into our currency and then cashing out on the automatic teller machine. So this is just like the display or the layout of, I'm showing it here, even though it should be the case. I'll show you guys what it looks like on the desktop. But go ahead and sign up for a beta account. Bang on it. Send me some questions that you have about the wallet. And if you have any coins that are interested in beginning using it, and they're interested in being able to swap out, being able to send crypto messages, money and messages at the same time on the wallet. And I encourage you guys to start experimenting with it too, posting messages to IPFS. So I'll do a quick walkthrough on the sign up, because I would encourage you, sign up first, log on, get your PGP encryption passphrase, and then at that point start posting messages, because you can't post messages to IPFS until you have that encryption. Whether or not you encrypt or certify messages, that's one of the things. So let me take a quick pause. I know I don't see any questions just yet, but just a couple folks just said what's up. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to log on to the beta site. Like I said, now we moved out of alpha. We put up this URL, so you're not just looking at an IP address. So now you have this site, web-02.exchange.io. Create your beta account, and then after maybe 2 to 3 weeks in beta, we'll be able to catch some errors, catch some bugs. There's obviously going to be some bugs and perhaps some user interface and user interaction issues. We'll fix that and we'll move into production. And then at that point in time, we're just going to rev full steam ahead into uploading as many coins as possible to be able to have those projects be able to leverage encrypted messaging, sending crypto and messages at the same time. Which is I did a search, and there's only about, say, 5 to 10 projects that are able where you're able to send encrypted messaging and or crypto. So, but to be able to combine it where you're sending crypto and messages at the same time, I think is a great feature for any project to have. But we're focusing first on the Masternode projects, and then we'll start pushing to some of the proof of work coins. But with that said, let me do a quick login so I can, as you guys go through the beta site, I would recommend some of the things that you do first. So I'm going to log on, and you have to go through the CAPTCHA. So that's just a security feature, just making sure folks are not spamming us. So I'm trying to click on cars. Click on cars. We did verify. And after you log on, when you log on for the first time, you're not going to get the two-factor authentication, but you will have to enable that. So I've already enabled mine. So now I'm going to pull my my token, my 2FA. So go into my phone now to pull my 2FA. Let's see if we can get in here in a second. And now I have my 2FA. You use Google Authenticate. I don't know if I actually explicitly mention it within the 2FA section, but go ahead and get that. I use Google Authenticate. So I'm logging on, putting in my key. Let me put that here. Might work if I do that first. Or 129. And press verify. And now I'm in. So once again, I use Google Authenticate. Google Authenticate, once you log on to the platform and you have Google two-factor authentication already set up. I have it set up already. But the way, when you first start out, read this page, guys, because I think it's important that you go through. Edit page is the first one that you should see. Click this edit button, you'll be taken to settings. Right now, when you first log on, you won't have your name here, so nothing will appear here, but you can click edit, and even exchange beta be taken to the settings page. And on the settings page, that's where you have your password, your personal information, you put it in, and then your encryption key. It'll be a form here that you'll have to fill out in order to get this fingerprint. But remember the passphrase, and I would encourage you not to use the same passphrase as your username or password to get onto the site. This is to delete your encryption key, and then this is 2FA. I'm not going to show the 2FA because it's going to have that QR. It's not a QR code, but whatever code it is that you scan with Google Authenticate to get your secret key, and then that secret key is what's going to be used to generate those numbers every 30 seconds or so through the Google Authenticate. I will assume you have two-factor authentication already set up. Once you have 2FA set up, as I mentioned earlier, that's when you log on, you'll get that verify page. You don't want to be hacked. I strongly encourage you guys, create a strong password, set up your 2FA, and then at that point begin to navigate through the site. Go to your wallet section. Like for instance, I put some funds on here for both LPC and LGS, and this is LPC and LGS. So go through, like for instance, Logiscoin. Click on Logiscoin, and I want to create an address. I click on it. Now I have a Logiscoin address. And a lot of folks mention, hey, you're not showing a lot of love to Logiscoin. Hey, I'm showing some love here. It's actually on the platform. So you guys could go through and demonstrate and walk through. Go to your balances, and right now it's update your balances. I'm gonna write a little JavaScript where it's going to update you guys and put the Logis coin balance and the LightPay coin balance. And for now, 51 transactions to see your available balance, but you can see your total balance immediately. But then, like I said, your available balance will show, and that's what you can immediately begin to send out. And like I mentioned before, it's going to adjust to how your mobile phone looks, so it's going to condense. But then you can do a search on whatever currency, in this case LPC, just do a quick search, and it's going to pull in the last 100 transactions or so. Like for instance, here's a transaction that will show, this was just a move. How you doing, Ibrahim? A move amount, and this was a fee because I sent out a lot of funds. And there's Kenny Black as well. So it takes 0.1% of the transaction. So in this particular case, I sent out 200 LPC, and then it only took 2 LPC for that, sending out that 2,000. When you post messages to IPFS, the same thing will happen as well. And at that point, you're post the message to IPFS, it costs 0.001 LPC. So that percentage, guys, and you can consider this like I have a walkthrough right now. Click on that link down below for the beta site, and this is our rollout of the beta site. Go ahead and get your accounts, and the first thing you should do is set up strong password, and then you set up your 2FA or your two-factor authentication through settings. Click on your Exchange beta, then click on 2FA. I'm not going to click on it because it's going to show that QR code, or that code that you use to actually create you scan into Google Authenticate. That's a security issue. But once you click on it and you scan it, you will have your 2FA available, and then it's going to ask you to verify each and every time. But as I mentioned before, going to your wallet, you'll be able to search your transactions, both transactions that are happening in just sending funds, and then sending funds and messages at the same time. But then you can go to XPay. And right now, this is, although it looks ugly on the like desktop, but like I said, this is beta, so we may figure out what's the best layout that we should actually have. You select the currency, and if you would like to verify, or for instance, scan a file. Let's see if I can go to a file here. I'm trying to find a QR code to pull here. Let's see if we can get a QR code. Don't see a QR code here. Image. I'm gonna cancel that. Here's what we'll do. I'm going to go here. I'm going to send myself some money. A quick example of using just the QR code dilly. Go to wallet, and then I'm going to LPC, and let's generate an LPC address. All right, here's the LPC address. Here's the public key, and then I'm going to take a quick snapshot of that. And this is just simulating something that, say for instance, would happen with my phone. You go through, and you take a snapshot, and I'm going to capture that. I think that's going to show up on my desktop. Go now over to XPay, and then I'm going to say to myself, I don't have that, and like I mentioned before, we may get some issues right now, or folks were saying that it's difficult to use the scan, but yet it's going to scan the address. See, QR code scanned successfully, and then what it did, it populated it here. But another option, what you can do when you have your phone, is use Gamma Play, where you could quickly scan the QR code, and it creates the image that you can copy to your clipboard, and then you could post it here as well. But we'll deal with that as it comes. But this is just the mobile version, or the web application first, before we move out to the mobile apps. We'll figure out the kinks, get the kinks worked out here, and then we'll push out to Android, and we'll push to Apple as well. So now that's populated, I'm going to send myself 100 LPC. So it's sent, and that was pretty fast. This is a pretty high-speed, low-drag server we have here. And then we have that transaction that was sent. It was sent successfully. But now, that's just in XPay if you're just looking to send currency. But say if you wanted to send a message, this looks one way on the platform. But on the mobile phone, it's optimized for more for mobile. So that's why you kind of see this kind of funky layout. But for the most part, it's, once again, it's the beta version. We're going to configure and we'll adjust it as we move through. Say I wanted to send an email to some guy, Xanthi. I'm not quite sure Xanthi if he's on this platform or not, but let me do this just in case. I'll send it to myself. As more and more people log on, we'll be able to send emails and send messages to more than one person. I'm going to send this person LPC. I'm saying here is one LPC, and it's going to post to the LPC. That's why we put certifying chain here. And hopefully some of you might be following along on your phone. And I want to encrypt it, and I want to certify it. And this is why you have to create your PGP or your Pretty Good Privacy Open PGP passphrase first, which should be different than your password. So let's put that here. And send that message. Now, that message has already been posted to IPFS. Say we want to search for it. Go back to excerpt, click view message, and that message will appear on someone else's in their inbox when they search for messages. So I want to search for a message here. I'm just going to do all encrypted. The blockchain I'm going to put, in this case, you can put Logiscoin, but in this case, LightPay coin. Click view. Right now, it's going to show you all of the messages, and it's going to show as well in your all the messages that you have that are encrypted. For instance, this is what I just sent. I'm going to click on that message, and right now, this is what it shows. It's encrypted. It's on IPFS. This is what's on IPFS. But now, I want to go look through the details of that message, but I need my passphrase to do it. You would select the message you want to view. Put in your passphrase. And once you put in your passphrase, click on message details. Scroll down, and you're able to see this is the IPFS pointer. So if you just went to IPFS and looked for the message, this is where you can find it. And it actually sent that one LPC, and it went from this address to this address, and actually here's the signature verifying the message, and here's the transaction ID, and let's go look it up. So I'm going to click here. Maybe I'll just go ahead and put the URL, and maybe that's a recommendation. I'm going to go to, what's the name of that site? Let's see, coinexplorer.net. I think that's coinexplorer.net /LPC. Look for that transaction. Now, that LPC that was just sent, we have those confirmations in that block, in the fee that was associated with the transaction. So that was that one LPC that was sent, verified on this particular chain, on the LightPay coin blockchain. I'll add in the link. Hey, how you doing, Eric? You're the guy that comes in every once in a while. Sometimes, I don't know, you're like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Sometimes you're a fan, and sometimes you just totally turn to Mr. Hyde and want to fry us. But yeah, right now, Eric, what we're doing is we're just doing a walkthrough of the beta site. Some of you guys may want to jump in on your mobile devices, and others of you may want to just navigate through your desktop. So what I was walking through now was just going through the Exchange beta site, just walking through on the desktop, even though it does adjust and adapts via the mobile as well. So we're taking your feedback and your comments over the next, say, 2 to 3 weeks. before we go live with this and we push hard on it to start onboarding all of these different all of the different coins to give them liquidity on our ATM machines. And I don't know if you saw that as well, Kenny, where we walked through and we Eric, excuse me, where we walked through the ATM. And this is the first Masternode ATM in North America, because it's the first ATM in Masternode, LPC Masternode in North America. Folks are getting into it. So when new listing, yeah, and I just mentioned that earlier. The exchanges, there's one exchange in China that we are, Colin did most of that work in getting us pushed through. The name of it, I'll post it, but he sent it to me earlier, either in the email or through the Signal message, but I'll post it earlier. So we have already put in our application to YoBit and have paid the fee. We were waiting to get listed on YoBit before we pushed out to Bittrex, but I'm not going to wait now. I'm just going to push out that application to Bittrex. So I think with the beta on the wallet that we have out now, with the ATMs out, which I demonstrated to a customer who came to the office today and actually demonstrated it. So it looks like we're going to have our first purchase of the ATM, and I think that's like historic in the sense that the first Masternode ATM in North America is going to be sold. But it's the case, we want to list on Bittrex, but I wanted to wait on YoBit before we pushed out, but we got it through. But it would be great to actually get this thing out the door, because it's one thing to be able to hold on the inventory. You don't want to hold on the inventory forever, so we want to get them out the door as soon as possible. But back to the desktop app. So you guys, once again, you can go to the site and get the wallet and have post messages to IPFS. So I think that's one of the cooler things about it as well. And this is one thing I want to point out, and I want to let y'all know now. If you go on to view a message, or you post a message to IPFS, and that message, for instance, is not encrypted. Let me see. I'm going to send a message that's not encrypted. Send it to myself. I say, I am putting this on IPFS and not encrypting it. If you're not encrypting the message, say you just certify the message, but then you don't encrypt it, it's going to post the message just like you're posting something to Twitter so that anybody can see it. But even though it's not an encrypted message, you still have to put in your encryption passphrase. That's just a feature that I put in place in order to be able to send those messages. So now, if I go back here and then I search for a message, I go view message, and then what I'm doing here, I'm not going to search encrypted, so I'm just going to click view all of the unencrypted messages. This is an unencrypted message. I click on this IPFS link, and this is just out in the public, so anybody can view it. So that's one of the crazy things, not crazy, but it's open. So you could post any message, and you click on this link here. I think this is linked to our Explorer. Let's see. Yeah, it actually shows it's showing that the transaction is not valid because it did an instant transaction. But give it a couple minutes, well, at least 1 minute for it to register on the LPC chain. So the way that the LPC blockchain works is that it's sending it instantly at the second level using the instant payments on instant payments using the masternodes. But what shows in the Explorer when you do a search is when all of those messages that have been sent instantly, within 1 minute, they post at the first level of the blockchain, or just the confirmation nodes. So let's give it a few minutes, and then it should show up, or at least 1 minute, so it'll fall into a block in that 1 minute, and then it'll actually post as a valid transaction. But right now it's showing as an invalid transaction. Let's see. I'm going to give it a minute or so. But right now, the main point I wanted to emphasize to you guys is that it's on IPFS and it's not encrypted. So that's one of the main things I do want to emphasize to you. Encrypt your messages. So when you do encrypt your messages and you click on any of these links, all you're going to see is just this encryption, which can't be broken. Say using a supercomputer or anything. Like no known method can break this encryption that's sitting on IPFS. So the message is safe sitting on IPFS encrypted. But the only way that you can see it is if, for instance, you click here, you put in your passphrase, or the recipient puts in their passphrase. Oh, why is this going all over the place? Then you view the message details, and you're able to see the message. So now you're able to see that message that was posted in an encrypted form on IPFS. So let's see here. What's happening? Let me get back to you guys. So it looks like this is taking me to another channel. Okay, now I'm back. Let's see what's in the messages. Business Week in Texas. Yeah, I did talk about it at the top of the hour. It went well. Like I said, we had a lot of positive response about the Masternode ATM, and I think you could go back and you can check the earlier part of the live stream where we have the video of the. I just did a little quick preview that's showing here, but it went well. We had a overwhelmingly positive response. We met some people in the crypto space, a lot of folks in the crypto space, some folks in the gaming space who wanted to have conversations about perhaps how we could collaborate. So that's going to happen. Those meetings are actually going to happen this week, and then I'll keep you guys updated on how things go from there. So that's all that I have so far. Get your beta site account at the URL below. So just go down there and click that link, https://web-02exchange.io. That's going to be the beta site for the next few weeks as we get more and more people testing out the site. So the goal, and I'll mention it once again, the goal at the end of the day is to have an end-to-end service. End-to-end service where you have the Exchange wallet that has say 500 or more currencies on it. Any one of those currencies, if they wanted to get immediate liquidity on our ATM, they could swap immediately into LPC, and then, or they exchange into LPC, and then they get liquidity, they cash out on the ATMs as our ATM network grows around the world. So that's the ultimate goal, to have where anyone could either get an Exchange mobile wallet or get a paper wallet. And then use the paper wallets through the ATM. I think on the next webinar, I'll go through and I'll walk through the process of how you would create a paper wallet. I did that earlier in the day with actually a potential buyer. We walked through and we did a demo today with that buyer. And then actually this was I'll cover up the private key. This was the paper LPC wallet. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, that's a question coming from Jim. Now, let me answer the question for Ibrahim first before I answer your question to Jim. When LBC LGS added to Bittrex, I'm putting in the application for. I have the application already prepared for LPC to get listed to Bittrex, and then I'll go ahead and do the application for LGS as well. Because both, they don't charge a fee. They just want to see that you have good projects and you're making progress on your roadmap. And that's what they told us to do the last time. Let's see how you guys make up. At the point in time we submitted our application to Bittrex, they told us, hey, you guys, it sounds like what you're doing is really cool, but let's see how far you make it on your roadmap. What I've already said in the application for LPC and what I will say for LGS is we already have the ATMs in place for LPC. We have already launched our multi-currency wallet with LPC and LGS, where anyone can A, send cryptocurrency, which most wallets do. B, send messages, encrypted messages and currency at the same time, which very few wallets do. And C, where any currency that's on the multi-currency wallet can swap into LPC and then cash out on our ATMs. So I think that's already a compelling case, just if you just look at what we've done just since December, rolling out the ATMs, rolling out the wallets with the feature set that we have right now that's in beta. I think it's a compelling case that they should list this. I'm just being, perhaps I'm biased, but you're not going to find, let me just go ahead and brag, no, you're not going to find a Masternode project, or really, yeah, let me just put it out there, any Masternode project that's at this point that has a multi-currency wallet where you can send encrypted messages posted to IPFS. You're not going to find that. At the same time, on a long-term roadmap, you're not going to find a multi-currency wallet whereby you could swap into LPC and then cash out on an ATM machine, our ATM machine. So I think you guys can begin to see how everything is beginning to come together. So the multi-currency wallet, messages posted to IPFS, swapping into LPC, cashing out on the ATM machines. So that's powerful. Now let me answer the question related to the gem. John had a vote regarding Venezuela funding. Will you be endorsing this, and how is the search for a dev going? We did have and on the dev section, let me go ahead and I can go to, I think GitHub already. The dev has already started doing some posting. Let's see, that's not, let's go to LightPaycoin. That's my private repository. That's it. So there's one issue here, I think, which has already been opened, and I'll begin to introduce you guys to the. You'll see its tag at least. We did have H. Bastidas. I think that's how you pronounce that. He actually says, it's a pleasure to write to you guys. You know, I've been warning this problem for this coin, and that's what John had already informed him about. He said, I hope to help you if necessary. I've been seeing what you've been doing, but if you update me more, I could be more effective. When I came back to him and basically said that, I said, thanks for this repository, and I talked about the current issue as it relates to the so-called fake stakes, and then I talked about the things that I had already conveyed, and I mentioned on 2 webinars ago the statements of work about fixing the fake stakes. First, demonstrating the issue. 2, fixing the issue. And 3, writing a unit test for it. And then I also told him to begin to get in contact with John. I think I mentioned it here. Yeah, so if you had a proper orientation for my LPC VZ contact, that's John. He will be able to give you more information. So John and this developer has already had some interaction, and it looks like he is the one that we're moving forward with. But then we're just going back and forth, as we see here on the open GitHub repository. Anybody can follow this. So as we're tracking this issue, and this is both for LPC and LGS, so it looks like he's coming on board to resolve those issues. So it looks like he's the one that we're locking in. But I'll tell you right now, guys, given that the alpha wallet, we're out of alpha on the wallet, we're into beta, and then we will move into production. I'm having more time where as we push more and more of the ATMs out, and the wallet is in a stable state where we transition it to Apple and to Android. So once that's done, I'm getting into the chain. So now being able to manage the blockchain, build the next iteration of the blockchain for LPC. My goal is to build a blockchain whereby I could effectively manage it and not necessarily have to depend on a dev, because I'm here for the long term. I think most of you know that. So if you question that, I should rest assured I'm not going anywhere. So I'm refocusing effort in being able to maintain the blockchain, being a solid contributor to maintain the chain myself, and not necessarily have to depend on one or two developers to do that work. So got a little, that fuzz. What happens when you talk too much? The little fuzz builds up. But yeah, that's where we are on that. So for the most part, we are making progress on the dev. So once we have the dev on board, so you can't merge a project until you have a developer who could be able to do that merge for you. But at the same time, I am jumping in head first to be able to make solid contributions to the chain, and perhaps it's the case that I'll be involved in that merger too. So only could do one or two things at a time. And the thing for me at this point is just being able to get back. Let me cancel that. And with get the web wallet out. Once the web wallet is out and y'all start doing some beta testing on it, then jump into the chain, being able to learn and constantly be able to maintain the LPC LGS blockchain so we can subsequently do the merger. So for me, considering the projects when they came out and how long they've been together, right now, throwing off the top of my head, it's going to be a one-to-one swap unless there's something compelling that that moves me otherwise. But then merging LPC and LGS. But that's just an issue. Don't write it down. Don't necessarily put it in writing. But that's where we are. Going back to the question from the gym on Gene had a vote regarding the Venezuela funding. Will you be endorsing this, and how is this search for the dev going? I answered the question related to the dev, but in terms of the vote regarding Venezuela funding, I'm not necessarily going to give my endorsement out for this project because I don't want to actually sway the vote, because I think that's been used in the past where some folks have attempted, like for instance, the first or second vote that we were supposed to do with SATC. It was an issue where they put my name all over the proposal, even though I didn't write it, trying to position it like I was the one who really wanted the merge to happen between LPC and SATC. No, that was not necessarily the case. Jay Beast wrote the proposal, but yet put my name on it, which was not necessarily a totally horrible thing, but in retrospect, how Mike from SATC was really pushing those guys to encourage the merger to take place, and then when Mike from SATC stepped back, it kind of put a sour taste in hey, they kind of put my name on it to make the merger happen, even though it's the case I didn't give an official endorsement of the project. So judge it on the merits of what you read and what Jean is able to convey to you guys. I know that he hasn't been able to give a proposal. He was supposed to give a proposal a couple times here, but it's the case. I have certain conditions. If you're going to give a proposal on our official channel, you have to show yourselves, but then you mentioned things about security. I understand that, but at the end of the day, you have to own the project if you're presenting on this channel. If you're presenting on this channel, you have to show yourselves. So, and that's always been the case. We have to be open and transparent. You can't be in the dark and just present and say, okay, I want to put together a proposal to get $150,000 or $50,000 on a Masternode budget proposal, but I'm not going to show myself. But you just have to trust me. No, I don't want that. And say, Damien, can you sit in front and just let me talk to it? No, you have to sit and you have to own the proposal. So, I won't be giving an official endorsement on the channel, but I would encourage you to listen to what he's saying, read the proposal, and vote how you feel, because they've already put out a vote. Vote how you feel on the project, and if it's something that merits consideration and it passes and it goes through before the next block, then it moves forward. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But at the same time, it has to meet that threshold of 10% in terms of the amount of folks voting for it to take place. So that's where I feel for it. I'm not going to endorse the project, but I did want you guys to know how I felt about it. So come out, own the project, give a presentation. If you want to, anybody can give a proposal. Jim, if you want to give a proposal for having the official comedian in the channels, the Discord channels, to keep those guys happy and spirits bright. Man, if come on, give the presentation. I'll set up the webinar, and then take it from there. But the official, my official position is that if you're going to put together a master no budget proposal and you want to own it and you want me to kind of like guide you and have you on and present on the official channel, you got to show yourselves. There has to be some level of accountability. No, the answer to that, Eric. So is Vlad still holding LPC and LGS? No, he isn't. From what I understand, and all the addresses that he's had, no. Jim for the clown. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, let's put together a vote on that. So. Yeah, so that's the case. So anybody can put together a proposal, guys. So don't necessarily think that that there's a process that you have to go through. So Eric, you mean a plow? Maybe. I don't know. No, Jim has been a straightforward guy. He's been here from the beginning, man, and I appreciate his effort. Even if he sold all his LPC, he's just here for the comedy. That's great. I think one person who's like officially like comic relief at this point. Mentos. So I'll throw down 250 for you, Jim. Yeah, put your email address down. Not email address. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Get your wallet and let them send you a message and some money. I think that'll be cool. Okay, I'll do this. I'll do this right here. So for the first person, let me do it. Not the first person. For the first, say 5 people who's able to send a message and have it posted to IPFS using the Exchange app. For those first 5 people, there's 250 LPC for the first 5 people. Let's just put it that way. So if you have and the way that you can prove that you were first is look at your timestamp on the transaction that you've posted. Once you post it to IPFS, and then you should be able to have a transaction ID or be able to see a transaction ID. Once you have that transaction ID, then I'll be able to look to see who posted the message. And then just do it. You can do a screenshot of the message in the app, either on your mobile phone or on your desktop, and you just post it to me, and then hit me up with your address. You put it down here, and I think on the next one I'll just come and I'll award those folks on the next webinar. Maybe that's like good. That's a good almost a week from now. But yeah, just go ahead and do it. So we're looking for the first 5. First 5 people who actually create an IPFS message using the LPC chain or even the LGS chain. The first five, they get 250 LPC. I know it's not a lot, but hey, this is for the spirit of getting folks to start to participate with the project. So that's what I want to strongly encourage. Get your friends involved. And once your friends are on, at this point, no. But that's why we have a beta out, so you could give recommendations. So like one of the recommendations was Colin immediately. He's like, okay, when I post, I put in my email, and then what happened is your email is linked to your PGP encryption key, and it's linked to any address that you create on the platform. So when somebody, they don't need to know your public key, they just need to know your email. So when you put in that email address, it's going to find their current public key, send funds to that public key, and actually use the passphrase associated with the PGP key in order to encrypt and send that message. But a feature that Colin recommended immediately is as soon as somebody sends an IPFS message, an email should go out. And I totally agree because it gets sticky at that point. Say, hey, you have money, or you have an encrypted message, or a crypto message. then they immediately come back in. So that's a method in which you could begin to have some type of stickiness and having people come back into the platform. So it looks like I'm going to add that in, where you send, as soon as you send an IPFS message, an email goes out to the recipient of the message and the sender, to let them know, hey, both of them, hey, you sent the message, and hey, you received a message, and come back onto the platform to decrypt the message and view it, or to come get your money. So it looks like, yeah, 2 recommendations for that is this exchange be able to integrate into your emails. And like I said, I think that's something that we should do. Be able to add that functionality in it, where it sends that email out as soon as the message is sent. As soon as you send an IPFS message and it posts to the blockchain, and it goes out and say, hey, you have a crypto message. I don't know if I should call it crypto message, but we'll figure it out. And that's why we're in a beta period right now, because I don't expect it to be perfect. And even the aspect around, what was that? Expose is not out, but it's coming. If you guys want to start posting larger messages, like some of you want to say put diplomas and stuff and certification, just send me an email and I can start doing that before I open it up and make it where it's automated. I want to kind of control the space, because we may have some space concerns on this beta rollout. So, but just let me know and send me a message, and you can send me an email through this application at damonbry@gmail.com. So I'll post it down, Damon Bry, DAMON. Let me just post it. I know I'm going to get some funky emails after this in my inbox. DamonBry@gmail.com. So send any issues that you might have, or send me a message. Send me a message on my exchange platform using that email address, and then we'll go from there. But don't worry, guys, as we shift this from the beta site to the production site, your wallets, they're going to be safe. And then you'll have to log on to the new account, use your same email address to plug back into your wallets. Or what you could do is export your address from the beta site and import it. So that functionality exists, and I'll just go to it here. If you want to export your address, you go to export your private key. You just put in your public key and press enter, and it's going to pull out your private key. And then when you get onto the new platform, the production platform, you will actually import your private key here. You'll put in that private key. You'll put in that private key, and then you'll create address, and then it's going to pull in that private key and all transactions associated with that public key and anything that has been sent to it. So then you can pull your money in and out. But for the most part, your funds will be safe as it goes from the beta site to the production site. So with that said, guys, we've been on for about an hour. We talked about a lot. We talked about the exchange wallet. We talked about exchanges that we're in progress on with YoBit. That's in progress. There's another one in China. I still have to get the name and write it down. That Colin has pushed us on. So that's 2. And Bittrex, I was waiting for YoBit to list, but I'm not. I'm just going to push that application, and that will be 3 for both. For Bittrex, that will be LGS and for LPC, and I'll give you guys an update next week. There is a vote going on with John in the community. Make sure to touch base and give your thoughts on it. I'm not going to officially endorse it, because I think I laid out my position on that as well. And as I mentioned before, we had a pretty good week over the Dallas Startup Week. Met some folks, going to have some interactions about how we can begin to spread the word about LPC. At this point, hit thumbs up if you like it. If you don't like it, put a thumbs down, but leave a comment and tell us why. And at that point, subscribe and tell your friends. Get them on the beta site, man. And as I mentioned before, the first 5 folks will be able to post to IPFS using the app, either the desktop or the mobile. They get 250 LPC, and then they can post their. You can post your address here, and then I'll go ahead and I'll send those funds out before the next call that we have. So this is a little competition to get the the exchange wallet out, and then once we go into, we'll maybe start getting folks on. We'll start getting some folks on, or some more currencies and more users on as well from other projects, and then we'll go from there, guys. So I do appreciate your time. If you want to send me a IPFS message, you can send it to DamonBry@gmail.com on the platform, and then we can take it from there. You can send me some crypto too. I'm the only thing I'm turning down is my collar. Thanks for your time, guys, and we'll see you next week.